Sangamo Therapeutics is trading at 59 cents. And if we move to the year to date, we can see that this stock has been absolutely battered. But there's potentially a huge opportunity with this stock that most people are overlooking. But I also need to share with you why the stock is battered and why so many people are also scared to make an entry into this stock as well. You can see here they have a number of treatments in development in their pipeline, which are in partnership with some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies, including Astellas, Eli Lilly, and Takeda, which you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. But the one we're really going to pay attention to as investors is for Fabry disease, which is at the bottom right here. And so Fabry disease can actually be life-threatening if not treated. So most patients who suffer with Fabry's disease actually have to take an enzyme replacement therapy, which is done by infusion every 2 weeks, which is incredibly, you can imagine it's incredibly inconvenient and incredibly costly. Sangamo's approach is very different. They're trying to develop a gene therapy that could be given once and permanently teach the patient's body to actually make this enzyme. And so effectively, there would be no more fortnightly appointments where they would be having to take these infusions that are incredibly expensive as well. And this is what makes this opportunity stand out. It's this new potential innovation in this treatment with Sangamo at the very cusp, already having conversations with the FDA, which I'll talk a little bit more about in this video as well. And so that's why there is this huge kind of potential upside opportunity with this stock. You can see from this press release right here, the STAR study demonstrated positive results across all dosed patients in the study, which the US Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has agreed will serve as a primary basis for approval. And so this is a critical point to recognize, is that they are already in conversations with the FDA. They're getting positive feedback from the FDA with regard to the results. And these conversations are positive, One thing to note as well is that, it takes a lot of time and a lot of investment to get to this stage of the development of treatments to the point where you're around the table with the FDA at this stage, potentially about to submit a BLA for this treatment as well. And so this point is absolutely critical to recognize. The US Food and Drug Administration have agreed this will serve as primary basis of approval. And so this basically means that the FDA have approved the clinical trial design and that this can go forward on the basis for a BLA submission with potential approval from the FDA. And so they're in very, very advanced stages of this already, It looks like they're on the cusp of something pretty big and all done under an accelerated approval pathway. And so given that they're so advanced and they're having these really positive conversations with the FDA, why is the stock absolutely beaten down? Why does no one want to touch it? And it's all down to the company's finances. Currently, the model is that they generate income through the partnerships, which I mentioned earlier, and you can see them up on your screen now. And it's through achieving particular milestones with these different treatments that they're developing in partnership that they receive payments from their partners. You can see here there's an 18 million in revenues, which was attributed to an upfront license payment under an agreement with Eli Lilly. But where the concern with this stock comes from and why no one wants to really touch it is because of a statement which can be found in this press release right here. We believe that our cash and cash equivalents as of June the 30th, 2025 will be sufficient to fund the planned operations into the fourth quarter of 2025. And so effectively they only have currently enough money to sustain operations up until the end of 2025. They've had a number of dilutions, which you can see here in 2023 and 2024. And the most recent one where Sangamo Therapeutics announced pricing of 23 million underwritten offering, which you can see here was from around the 12th of May 2025. And so as you can imagine, the major focus for them right now is to secure this commercial partner. They have this track record of being able to secure high-level partnerships, which we can see with the partnerships they've secured with Eli Lilly, Astellas and others on their pipeline. But right now, what they're looking for is one for this Fabry disease. And once they can secure that, effectively they've secured their short-term future at least. Sangamo continues to engage with the FDA ahead of the planned BLA submission for their treatment and continues to engage in business development negotiations for a potential Fabry commercialization agreement. And with that, there are a number of major events coming up at the moment where they will potentially have this opportunity to secure this partnership that they're talking about to push things forward. They're at the Cantor Global Healthcare Conference and the Wells Fargo Healthcare Conference, which you can see here. The Cantor Global Healthcare Conference brings together the most innovative thought leaders from both public and private companies to explore in-depth developments and trends in healthcare. The conference features a series of keynote speakers and expert panelists addressing key innovations in the healthcare sector. Both of these conferences will give them the opportunity to showcase the work that they've done, the developments and conversations that they're having with the FDA, with view of potentially attracting a partner, Both of these conferences are attended by numerous well-known pharmaceutical companies. You can see here big names including Johnson & Johnson and Eli Lilly will be attending the Wells Fargo Healthcare Conference. Off the top of my head, I know that Jazz Pharmaceuticals, Regeneron and Sanofi will be all attending the Wells Fargo Conference, but this is a place where all of the pharmaceutical biotech companies will all convene. It's an opportunity for them to showcase, to demonstrate the impact of the work, to network and to get these partnerships. So these are two critical opportunities. Sangamo plans to present additional clinical data to the 15th International Congress of Inborn Errors of Metabolism, the ICIEM 2025, which takes place in September in Kyoto, Japan. And again, another opportunity to showcase the results that they've achieved in front of world-renowned, world-class experts. Again, the potential to create a buzz around the developments of their program, which in turn hopefully will develop that ripple effect, will get people speaking and potentially again get people around the table so that then they can have these discussions around a potential partnership. And so like I said, a promising track record of being able to secure partnerships in the past. We've got these 3 big critical events coming up where they're going to be able to showcase the conversations that they've had with the FDA so far to the pharmaceutical and biotech industry. And it's a critical inflection point. It's kind of do or die situation, which is why we've seen the stock so beaten down. But there are a lot of positives to look at this stock. They've come so far already with this treatment that they're almost at the finish line with that. They've incurred a lot of the costs themselves, so if you like, done a lot of the hard work. And to me, this, from another pharmaceuticals perspective, presents a potential golden opportunity. You have Sangamo coming forward, demonstrating all of the work that they've done so far, being able to get past a number of hurdles and setbacks. And like I was saying, at the finish line or almost at the finish line, just needing to secure this partnership, which could see the share price spike on securing a partnership. And then we have the potential BLA and a PDUFA date to look forward to, which again are other catalysts that could see the share price increase even more. The final thing that I've been kind of trying to get through my head is that, what happens if they don't get this partnership? To me, given the innovation that they've developed with this Fabry disease treatment, the fact that they are potentially going to give a one and done solution, which means that future patients won't need to have these fortnightly infusions, that is something which is critical, it's very important and very valuable. And so if they did not secure this partnership, it kind of caused me to question a little bit what's happening in the biotech space, So a number of catalysts coming up, a level of risk. I think a lot of people are waiting for this partnership to be secured before going in. I've already gone in and I will potentially continue adding if there is more positive noise moving forward. But look, thanks very much for watching. Have a great day and I will see you in the next one. Take care.